Hey everybody, this is Brian from In the Trenches Ministry, and this is video number 3, full-length video number 3, all about recovery. So we've already covered addiction. What is it? Kind of the root of it. We've also gone into treatment, different kind of methods, from medication-assisted therapy to counseling techniques and things like that. And now we're going to be diving into recovery, or as I like to call it, discovery. And it's kind of fitting that I'm wearing the Phoenix shirt. This is a shameless plug for the Phoenix. It's a local organization here in Denver. It's a sober, active community that provides a place for people that are in recovery from substance use disorders, alcohol and other drugs. So the only requirement is that they're 48 hours sober. They can come in and they can do CrossFit, they can do weightlifting, they can do rock climbing, cycling, running. They even have community support groups every week, all kinds of cool events. And so, yeah, it's kind of fitting again that I'm wearing this shirt, because at the very, I think, core of recovery and discovery is community. Okay, a community of people, like-minded individuals that'll help you through your recovery. And we'll kind of get to that. But first things first, want to just put it out there that everybody recovers in a different way. You know, there's no cookie cutter method for doing this. A lot of these things that we're talking about have worked very well for people, and maybe not so well for some. So just kind of keep in mind that these are just ideas and thoughts and even opinions about what might help someone live a sober life. And of course, this will also be kind of from the Christian perspective as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. One thing that's very important with understanding one's recovery is accountability, right? No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to make the choices for you to participate in any kind of recovery program or new lifestyle. So I just got to throw it out there that if you are in recovery, that you got to be intentional about it. And it's just very important to be accountable to yourself and to your new sober life. Okay, so that's kind of number one. Number two is finding things that that interest you, things that you really enjoyed doing before the alcohol and other drugs got a hold of you, right? And there's got to be some, right? So kind of look back, reflect. I mean, self-reflection is so important in the recovery lifestyle. Something that we do daily, we should do daily. Even if you're not in recovery, I think it's very important to do some self-reflection at the end of the day. Maybe it's a gratefulness exercise or something like that, but just some reflection. So what did you do? What did you like to do before the drugs and alcohol got a hold of you? So once you kind of write some of those down, then you can start looking around you, looking around your community. Where can I find these things? Maybe you did like working out, right? And then working out was something that, when you were in active addiction, just wasn't happening at all. And so maybe you want to go back to the gym. And, when it comes to like spiritual fitness, there's so many crossovers from physical fitness to spiritual fitness. So if you're in the gym, I mean, not a lot of people like to go to the gym. Not a lot of people like to work out. And there's value in the exercise though, right? Because if we're in an uncomfortable environment, meaning we're working out hard, we're lifting weights, we're running, we're doing whatever, it doesn't always feel great, right? But then the result, the progress that you make, that feels really good, right? It's a sense of accomplishment. Maybe you had some weight loss goals or just some fitness goals, like I want to run a mile in under 10 minutes, or I want to run a 5K and just complete a 5K without having to stop. Whatever it is, it takes time, right? I mean, think about Jesus, right? He pretty much walked everywhere, I believe, right? Maybe he was in a boat from time to time, and he walked a ton, right? And in that same vein, think about how Jesus walked, right? He never ran. you walked. So in recovery, it's the same thing. We need to walk through this, pace ourselves, understand that this isn't just kind of hey, once I'm 1 year sober, I can just stop doing all the things that I was doing to help me during that time. No, it's something that we need to be very intentional about and walk through this life and not run toward any kind of finish line with recovery, because it takes time. So be patient with it. So kind of back to that physical fitness aspect, right? Just like physical fitness, spiritual fitness, right? From a Christian perspective, we're talking about, attending church, right? Going to church, attending whatever kind of maybe small groups that they have, men's groups, women's groups, Sunday school, whatever it's called in your church these days. The bottom line is connect, right? Connection is so important in recovery. I mean, connection is so important just in life, right? Especially in recovery, because you're probably going to have, I would hope that you are going to have a new circle of people, a new circle of friends that that will support you along the way, right? Because I mean, if you were in an environment before where all your friends were kind of, drinking and carrying on and doing all that, going back to that environment probably is not a great choice, right? So we want to move forward in a more healthy environment. And, during this time, you're kind of going to figure out who your true friends are, right? Because your true friends are going to respect you, or respect your new life and respect your recovery, and they're going to ask you questions like, because hey, maybe you guys are at a barbecue or over somebody's house, and the people have a couple of beers or glasses of wine, and it would be my hope, it's not their responsibility, but it would be my hope that maybe your friends would ask you, hey, is this uncomfortable for you? What's this look like to you right now? Is this okay? Especially in the early days of recovery. So connection, right? And you can find connection in all kinds of different groups. I'm not going to go through all the recovery groups out there because there's so many. You're probably familiar with Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, right? Narcotics Anonymous, and there's a whole bunch. Celebrate Recovery is a Christian-based recovery group that is kind of based off of the 12-step program, the AA 12-step program, and it includes Christian and biblical principles, and I highly encourage at least checking that out. We'll put some links in the bottom of this video so you can have some resources for some of these different groups. It's just not going to have time to go into all of them. So what have we talked about already? We talked about accountability, right? Got to kind of surrender and own the fact that, yes, this is my new life, and I need to be intentional about what I'm doing. 2, connection, right? Finding healthy connections, healthy relationships, going to church, finding that in church. If you were never a churchgoer or kind of a once a monther or a C&E group, right? The Christmas and Easter, hey man, I've been there. Challenge yourself, okay? Challenge yourself. Even on the days you don't feel like getting up and going, has nothing to do with emotions, right? Take your emotion out of it and do what you know is going to feed your soul. And part of that is going to church, because you're going to find people there that will be there worshiping and praising God along with you, that are going to be there to listen to you, pray with you. You're going to learn about God. You're going to read from His Word, and the more you read from His Word, and the more you're going to learn about Him, and the closer you're going to get to Jesus. So kind of look at that as maybe a third point, right? Opening the Word of God, opening the Bible daily. Do I miss some days? Yes, I do. And when I miss those days, I am not 100%, right? I'm not 100%. So yeah, we're talking accountability, community, connection, opening the Word of God, reading the Bible, finding a group, or maybe, I shouldn't say group, we already talked about that, but maybe a mentor. In AA, they have sponsors. When I was going through my early recovery, my good buddy, Sam, from my church, we met weekly for probably a good year and a half. We went through several books. We went through the Bible together. We talked life. He was somebody that I could confess to, and then pray with together, right? So yeah, I mean, let's be accountable. Let's figure out the things we used to love to do before we were enslaved by alcohol and other drugs. Let's find connection in the church would be a great place to start. Let's find a mentor, a spiritual mentor, a good friend, someone you can just do life with and confess, someone you can text in the early morning hours and say, brother, I need you right now. So yeah, those are just some tools for recovery and discovery of your new life going forward. Again, I mean, I could talk for days about this. This is probably, with the exception of the early withdrawal and detox and just kind of getting well physically, next to that, the fear, I guess, of telling yourself that yes, I am convicted about this and I am going to walk through the from alcohol and other drugs. That's a scary place to be, and it is a daily process. So I encourage you, if you are in active addiction now, or you're in the early recovery stages and you're kind of feeling lost, or whatever the case may be, reach out to us, reach out to a close friend, reach out to somebody that cares and that will listen to you, because going it alone is not the answer. Okay. Next video is going to be about family, and this is another really, I'm just excited to talk about this one. And honestly, in the world of addiction, families kind of get left behind, and not a lot of people understand how family members are affected by their loved ones' addiction. And so next week we're gonna have a little talk about family, and there's gonna be a guest post. I'm gonna include something that was written by my wife, Carrie, and just kind of her perspective and thoughts on, or from the family members' point of view. So, God bless, love you, see you soon.